She Dies Tomorrow, written by Amy Seimetz. Now, you may not recognize the name, but I can almost guarantee you've seen her before. She's had smaller roles in shows like Stranger Things, The Killing, and Halt and Catch Fire, all the way to indie films like Upstream Color, and then finally to mainstream blockbusters like Alien Covenant and the Pet Cemetery remake. Now, I had already known her as a filmmaker and director because I saw her first film called Sun Don't Shine in 2012, and I kind of knew what to expect. I had a feeling it was going to be something like this, although I never watched the trailer for this movie, but I wanted to go into this completely blind, only knowing what Amy had done in the past and leaving it at that. Now, this film stars Caitlin Scheel, who is also starring in Sun Don't Shine, as well as Jane Addams and Kentucker Audley. I think the IMDb description sums this movie up succinctly, and it is Amy thinks she's dying tomorrow, and it's contagious. Caitlin Scheel plays a woman named Amy. Is there a coincidence there? I don't know. The director has been going through some personal stuff I don't want to get into. You can look it up, but I feel like it probably has something to do with navigating her personal situation. This movie starts in an interesting way. We're in a room. We find Amy crying, perhaps grieving for something, someone. She's on her laptop looking at cremation urns, which leads her to a web search for leather jackets, which has a great payoff. I don't want to spoil it later in the movie. But it's about 20 to 30 minutes before you really know what's going on. So if you watch this movie and you find it too slow, stick with it. It has a shift that is tonally rewarding, trust me. So what begins as a dark, almost pretentious examination of this woman as she is contemplating death or grieving or something else, it shifts into probably one of my favorite scenes of the whole movie, a more lighthearted yet dark situation. It has been noted that this narrative strangely speaks to the times we find ourselves in currently. It's a very visual and auditory film, and that's in fact the device that's used to communicate to the viewer how this contagion is passing from one character to the other. The pacing's very deliberate. It's very character driven. It's not much. There's not much of a plot there to speak of. We follow these characters around. Sometimes they're together. Sometimes we're witnessing their struggles separately. And the cinematography really helps us put us in the mental state of these characters. There's not many wide shots. Most of the shots are very tight with the characters. And I really think it helps pull you into their situation, making you almost uncomfortably close as they go through these thought processes. I really like what Amy did with the tone here. It starts off one way and then quickly changes to another, one that's very introspective and overly serious, you could argue. And we find ourselves in laugh out loud situations. I mean, I laughed out loud plenty of times in this movie, despite the fact that we see these characters as they're coping with what they're facing. Now, should you watch it? Well, this movie is not for everyone. If you check the Rotten Tomatoes score or the user score on IMDb, you'll see that it's very mixed. You have the critics liking it quite a bit, and you have the viewers disliking it quite a bit. But that's okay. I don't know what people thought they were getting themselves into. I thought the trailer, once I watched it after the fact, was pretty true to the movie. So I think you'll like this movie if you're into more of the independent film scene. You're open to a different experience. You like the understated. You like highly visual things. You're okay with slower pacing and a very thin narrative that doesn't necessarily completely resolve as a traditional one might. Now, if you're going to this looking for something more straightforward, something terrifying, as I saw some of the reviews state in the trailer, I don't know that you're going to enjoy this. I would stay away. It's not a long movie. I believe it's just under an hour and a half, so it's not a huge time commitment. But I personally enjoyed it, and I'm going to have to give She Dies Tomorrow an 8 out of 10. It was a fun time. I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed the situations they found themselves in, the interactions there, and even the underlying message, which I think can go either way. I mean, on one hand, are we obsessed with our own mortality, or maybe we don't pay attention to it enough. And this movie's trying to show us how fragile life is and how fleeting it can be. I don't know. I guess that's up to Amy to let us know if she ever does. So thank you, Amy. I completely enjoyed the movie. I know I'm talking like you're ever going to watch this. I love the fact that you're making things that you want to make, that you're not bending to the whims of studios, and whoever funded this, thank you. And thank you for watching. If you have any movie suggestions, please put them in the comments below. I'd love to check out what you think I should check out next. Have you seen this movie? Did you like it? Did you hate it? I'd love to hear about it. And until then, I will see you in the next one. Thanks.